Welcome to another explainer where we take complex biology and break it down into something you can actually use. Today, we're diving into a fascinating medical mystery. We're going to uncover a completely natural, ridiculously delicious way to seriously upgrade your cardiovascular and erectile health. We're talking about something so potent, folks actually call it nature's VIAGRA. It's organic, it's easy to get, and it literally works by turning back the clock on your blood vessels. Let's explore the science behind a savory daily drink known as liquid black. Okay. Let's dive into this because the history here is absolutely wild. To figure out how to heal our modern vascular systems, we actually need to look backward, like way backward. We're talking about two totally different eras, the legendary Aztec ruler Montezuma and a remote indigenous tribe studied back in the 1990s. So what could these guys possibly teach us about getting and staying stiff or keeping our blood pressure in check? Well, the answer is all in their daily habits. Section 1. The Ancient Liquid Secret. Let's kick off this medical detective story by looking at exactly what these historical heavyweights were actually consuming. 50. According to historical accounts, Montezuma didn't just have a casual cup of this secret beverage. No, he reportedly knocked back up to 50 cups of this stuff a day. He'd mix it up with various spices and drink it specifically to satisfy his many wives and concubines. It was basically his daily vitality routine. But, we don't just have to rely on ancient legends here. Let's fast forward to the 1990s. Researchers started studying the Kuna Indians down in Central America. And after seeing their incredible passion, vitality, and really long lifespans, scientists noticed one very specific dietary habit. The Kuna Indians were drinking 5 cups of flavonoid-rich cocoa every single day. That's about 900 milligrams of pure cocoa. And what this did to their bodies absolutely blew the minds of the medical researchers. Just look at their health profile. They outlived us, they had 0 hypertension, and literally no heart disease. Now, you might be thinking, oh, they probably just lived these pristine, super clean lives. But actually, no. As they got older, they ate a ton of salt, just like we do. A lot of them even smoked tobacco. But despite all that, their cardiovascular systems were practically bulletproof. Scientists ran extensive tests and proved this wasn't just some lucky genetic jackpot. The magic factor protecting their hearts? It was that daily intake of liquid black cocoa. Section 2. Heart health is erectile health. To really grasp why this ancient drink is such a game changer, we have to look at the actual biological plumbing that connects your heart to the rest of your body. So the crucial point is this. Heart health and erectile health go hand in hand. You literally cannot have one without the other. Why? Because blood has to be effectively pumped from your heart to all the tissue in your body, and that is especially true for erectile tissue. An erection is, at its core, a cardiovascular event. If your plumbing is compromised, your performance is going to be compromised. Let's walk through this biological plumbing problem that unfortunately hits so many men. First off, as you age, your testosterone levels naturally dip, and you might slow down a bit physically. Because of this, your blood vessels actually start to weaken, and they produce less of a really crucial molecule called nitric oxide. This leads to a direct drop in blood flow to the erectile tissue. And finally, without that robust blood flow, the penile tissue literally atrophies. It shrinks, causing a very noticeable loss of stiffness. Look, I know it sounds super discouraging, but don't stress, because we're going to learn exactly how to intercept this whole process and age your blood vessels in reverse. Section 3. The endothelium and nitric oxide. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the microscopic mechanism that actually controls all this plumbing. This is the endothelium. Every single blood vessel in your body is lined with these specialized endothelial cells. Think of them as the factories that produce your nitric oxide. They quite literally decide if your blood vessels are going to be wide open and flexible like a 20-year-old's or stiff and restricted like a 90-year-old's. Endothelial dysfunction is actually one of the very first steps in developing heart disease. But here's the major catch. Because the blood vessels in the male anatomy are so tiny, this dysfunction almost always shows up first as erectile dysfunction long before anyone has a heart attack. But check out the biological cascade that kicks off when we introduce liquid black. Step 1. You drink flavanol-rich cocoa. Step 2. The powerful proanthocyanins inside that cocoa go to work, actively repairing those damaged endothelial cells. And they improve platelet function, so your blood doesn't clump as easily. Step 3. With your cells getting healthier, your natural nitric oxide production skyrockets. And finally, step 4, your blood vessels dilate. They open wide and blood flows freely exactly where it needs to go. Section 4. Proof. The clinical studies. We aren't just taking ancient rumors or indigenous observations at face value here. Modern science has put this whole biological cascade right to the test. And the most shocking part of the data? The speed. Cocoa improves blood flow fast. In a study of 15 healthy folks, researchers measured significant blood flow improvements in the brachial artery within just 1 to 4 hours after drinking flavanol-rich cocoa. The results were basically identical to what you'd see after taking a heavy-duty nitrate supplement, and a separate 2-week study on 21 people totally confirmed these fast, sustained improvements. But what if you aren't in perfect health right now? What if you've already done some damage over the years? Well, remarkably, cocoa has been proven to improve blood flow even in really severe cases. We are talking about long-term smokers whose habits have completely wrecked their vessel linings and their ability to make nitric oxide. It works for patients with uncontrolled diabetes, end-stage kidney disease, congestive heart failure, and hypertension. The anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects are just so powerful that they can start healing even highly compromised vascular systems. And this brilliantly illustrates what happens when we put it into practice. A clinical trial took 101 men suffering from erectile dysfunction and had them drink a cup of cocoa mixed with spices and chilies every night for 12 weeks. The results? Absolutely staggering. Men with mild ED saw a 79% improvement. Moderate ED showed an 83% improvement. And guys, even those with severe ED saw a massive 67% improvement in function, all from just drinking a daily cup of medicinal cocoa. Section 5, real cocoa versus fake chocolate. Okay, before you run out to the grocery store, we have to make a massive distinction here. You cannot just grab any chocolate off the shelf and expect a medical miracle. Let's compare the two. What we're talking about is medicinal black gold. This is organic, unheated, high flavanol cacao. It's naturally pretty bitter because it's loaded with the proanthocyanins that heal you. On the flip side, you have your standard, highly processed American hot chocolate. They cook and heat the cocoa, which basically destroys almost all those healing flavanols. Then they pump it full of high fructose corn syrup and emulsifiers. That commercial junk will actually destroy your blood vessel lining and wreck your blood pressure. You have to source the real, raw stuff. Section 6, making your liquid black. Let's move to and see how this builds into an actionable daily protocol. Making liquid black takes less than 2 minutes. Step 1. Drop a scoop of high-quality, high-flavanol cocoa powder into your favorite mug. Step 2. Add some really warm, not boiling, but hot, water, and stir it around until it's totally dissolved. Step 3. Mix in exactly 1 teaspoon of raw, unpasteurized honey. And that's it. That is your daily, potent dose of nitric oxide boosting power. Now, you might be asking why raw honey specifically? Well, raw honey is basically liquid gold. It's the absolute perfect synergistic sweetener because it is packed with zinc. Plus, it has all these natural antibacterial, antifungal, and anti-inflammatory properties. Even better, it actually has glucose-regulating properties, meaning it helps actively manage your blood sugar levels instead of spiking them through the roof like regular processed sugar. Just a quick heads up though, real cacao is a pretty powerful stimulant. It's going to give you a serious energy kick. So if you're naturally sensitive to caffeine, like if it makes your heart race or makes you feel a bit jittery, start with just a half scoop. Too much right out of the gate can definitely make you feel anxious. Always listen to your body and, as always, run this by your doctor before starting any new health routine, especially if you're managing any existing conditions. So that leaves us with our final question. Will you upgrade your morning routine with liquid black to start aging your blood vessels in reverse? The science here is just crystal clear. From the historic Kuna Indians right up to modern clinical trials, nature has given us this profound, ridiculously delicious way to repair our endothelium, boost our nitric oxide, and totally optimize our vascular health. It's sitting right there, waiting for you to use it. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll see you next time.